Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to my channel.
This video is inspired by good news, something favorable and realistic to your situation that is predicted to happen in the month of July. Now, I left this card here because the energy was shuffled out, the crystals were selected, and I said, dang it, I didn't set any intentions. And Spirit said, yes, you did. So I shuffled the cards and said, Spirit, what is the overall energy of the reading? And lo and behold, we have good news. Now, for some of you, it could be an invitation to try something new or an adventure. Hearing from someone with exciting or flirtatious energy, news that boosts your confidence or curiosity, and a message about a creative project, new passion or opportunity, discovering fresh inspiration or clarity after a stagnant period. And I am honored and excited to deliver the message. So, if you want to jump ahead, the timestamps are below in the description box and in the comment section. But if you'd like a brief overview of your PAL selection and crystal, I will go over that and you can stay here with me. The others of you, I'll see you in your groups. Group 1, you guys have the labradorite, alchemy of balance and breakthroughs, a very beautiful, colorful, full of life crystal. Your energy is leveling up through spiritual alchemy. Labradorite helps transmute uncertainty into clarity, shielding your aura and opening hidden pathways. You've been cultivating patience, and now balance returns. Expect good news connected to personal breakthroughs, divine timing, aligning in your favor, and a deeper sense of flow where once there was friction. The answers, the healing, the next chapter, it's arriving through steady, aligned shifts. Group 2, very beautiful crystal. This is pink moonstone. Clarity through intuition and communication. Pink moonstone reflects your awakening. Intuitive messages are sharpening, and mental clarity is about to slice through confusion. This is your season to receive inspired ideas, direct answers, and heartfelt communication that clears the fog. If you felt uncertain, expect uplifting news that restores confidence, sharpening your boundaries, and aligns your words and choices with your higher truth. Group 3, with a very unique and beautiful crystal. I have to flip it over for you because I couldn't really choose. Well, I guess ultimately I chose which side to lay on the card, but so beautiful. And the video does it no justice. Orca agate, sometimes called the blue flame agate, and I just didn't see that. I definitely see orca though. Emotional fulfillment and soul satisfaction. Orca agate holds deep ocean wisdom. The waves you've navigated emotionally and are leading you to fulfillment. Your resilience is paying off, and good news is on the horizon, connected to emotional desires, manifestation, or personal milestones coming full circle. This is a wish, a moment of happiness, or an accomplishment ready to surface, not from force, but from alignment. Group 4, you guys have a petrified wood, mountain oregano, empowered independence and self mastery, a very, very beautiful stone. This rare, earthy energy symbolizes growth, sovereignty, and living abundantly on your own terms. You've been planting seeds for stability and self sufficiency. Now comes the good news of recognition, financial blessings, or a chapter of confident independence blossoming. Your energy exudes value, and the universe is reflecting that back through rewards, resources, or elevated status. Now, if you need a moment, feel free to pause the video. Breathe deep, let your intuition guide you to the energy that feels aligned. Your next chapter of good news is awaiting. Group 1. Your first card out is Temperance, connected to Sagittarius and also represents the alchemy energy. It is a card of reconciliation and sometimes known in love readings for the twin flames. It's a blending of opposites. So the good fortune that may be coming to you in the near future may seem odd, unexpected, or ironic. Another thing that I love about temperance energy is it normally connects to those that may have had to use their resources, the things in your environment. It talks about blending the elements around you. So if you've had to get it out of the mud or maybe life felt that way, then this reading is definitely for you. We will connect the cards. I want to get them all laid out for you before just like chopping them up individually to tell your story. I'm going to start with 3 alchemy or oracle cards. I apologize, a lot of alchemy going on. And then we will also incorporate the tarot. Now you guys have the Wintertide Waves. Aren't those orcas? So some of you may be connected to group 3 as well, or at least thought about it. Now I love that in this particular card, they're moving forward into the future, not going back. The number is 29 in case that's significant. And like the orca in the pod, you value your connections, turning life's challenges into shared victories. And I see 3 of them. So it's like 3 of cups energy. There may be a celebration or just a good time in store for you in July. And I think that that's super cool. Now, for some of you, Leo season may be significant because I'm looking at this mystical little creature here. The shimmeric cascade of integrity. Now, this is what you're facing. With divine guidance and my own resourcefulness, I harness the power to turn challenges into opportunity. I knew it. Temperance wouldn't choose you if you weren't deserving. And so turning your challenges in opportunity is actually your magic. If others facing the same circumstances and similar situations as you lacked the integrity or this perseverance that you have, they don't get the fortune. So your fortune comes from possibly, seeing the challenges and facing them, but it's the approach, the perspective, and the actions that you take toward them that brings you something good. And we're going to see what that is. The next card we have is whirling whirlpools of precision, being very precise and to the point. I love that. Also facing the future. Now I do see the past, you were not focused on it. You were looking into the future, maybe planning or in some choices that you made emotionally, or I feel like subconsciously you've been doing a lot of work. Now facing forward into the present with the lion, it says to take July, because there are many, many, many retrogrades. Take it with a grain of salt and consider that Temperance is the lady that walks with the lion in the Strength card, where we don't move from the ego or the fiery, authoritative aspect of us, but more of a graceful, feminine energy, even if you're a guy. Be mindful of where fire may fall in your chart and also others in the environment that may be very important. I did a July overall reading that included horoscope. And I remember that there was an advisory for Leo and Aries to not take their normal approach to something. So if you have that in your chart, and sometimes it is the strength in your response to people or situations in your environment, you want to check that out. And it should be described as July forecast horoscope or something like that. But in the whirling, swirling chaos of life, I maintain focus, darting toward the opportunities that arise. So group 1, there's an opportunity that arises for you, and it's your ability to be graceful and flow with the current, as well as with your collective and community, not the tides, not the distractions, not the chaos that brings about some sort of favorability for you. Now, the holiday is approaching. And this reading will get done. My puppies as well as neighbors are all in some sort of celebratory or reactive behavior, and I apologize for the noise in advance. Spirit, thank you. What do we have for group one? I love that. Okay, it's like, don't leave me out. Ooh, 10 cups. Bless your heart, y'all. Okay, let me see this bonus card. All right. Now, the Queen of Cups, the Six of Cups, the 10 of Cups. There may have been a situation back in May that resurfaces a relationship, a conversation, a text message you sent that you didn't receive. Mercury, all these retrogrades could be cultivating, okay, a spin of the block. All right. Now, for some of you, it talks about growth and memories. I feel others of you dumping out the negative energy, the past life energy, the cords and connections in past lives with siblings, with children from your childhood. Those are the things that are going to bring you some sort of abundance. And so I think that that's super cool. The Three of Cups is connected to the Queen of Cups, as well as the Six of Cups card. It's actually connected to like May 25th. So maybe like the third or fourth week of May, there could have been something that transpired. And I feel it may have been in your home life. Okay. So being focused and staying dedicated as well as persevering and also having what it takes, because the Knight of Pentacles is the only knight that makes it across the finish line, some say. And it's not because of any other superpower outside of being able to resist the temptations, not being, emotionally beat up when life punches at them being the emotions, not being impulsive, not getting burnt out. It's just like all of the shadow energy from the other nights, this grounded energy, this committed energy, this focused energy of the Knight of Pentacles gets you across the finish line. Now, the only shadowy energy is sometimes the Knight of Pentacles lacks motivation, which some people would kind of call lazy, but I don't get that from you guys. I see, coming across the ego, it's just like the rabbit and the hare. If we get too comfortable and we just have the audacity and high expectations, which I do as well, so I'm not judging, but sometimes that could cause us to oversee. And when I say oversee, not see, okay, opportunities that may be destined for us. But I don't feel like you guys have that issue. It's just that for some of us, because the bonus card that I did see at the bottom of the deck was the Five of Pentacles, I feel that if you are in the liminal space of the in-between, you're far from where you started, but not even in sight of where you want to be. And that could be crushing. And then imagine changing your belief system, moving from one community or social group to another, or just dealing with isolation. It could even feel like a period of winter where it's not spring, it's not summer, it's not exciting. It's the time where the bear goes in to hibernate. And sometimes even when it comes out, it's a story about like the little ant who one of them didn't put up harvest from the more fruitful seasons. And there had to be people in the environment to help and say, hey, we're not going to judge you. I'm not going to slap you on the wrist. But did you learn your lesson type deal? And the other little ant was still okay. Did y'all hear that story? Like, it's something they teach in grade school about preparation. So for some of you, it's like you may have learned that lesson, long story short. And I feel like your ability to focus on it and keep your passion, anger, and emotions content is going to lead to some exciting fulfillment. Okay. Now, what this party is, this thing to celebrate, I think it's money. I saw the Six Pentacles. So you move out of the Five of Pentacle energy, and it has something to do with that. What did they call it? Winter stride waves. There's a transformation and a change in life. Like some of you, and I'm not exaggerating because I don't do that well. Some of you guys, and here it is. There's a new beginning with the Fool card. You also have the Four of Swords, which represents your victory. There's an entirely new beginning. Like you're going to be entirely different. You're moving into an energy that's nothing like where you are or where you started. And I think that that's super cool, which is sometimes unbelievable. But if it is the universe, your choices, your ancestors, source, whatever you believe in that's aiding with this, as well as some of the transits are rotating, and they have been for the last 7 or 8 years. And some of them are shifting totally new, and it's going to be that way for a few years. So that's a good thing. If you feel like you were on the downside, in the last 6 to 8 years, consider yourself possibly on the upside. Now, there may be some anxieties and a need to move forward if you have been dealing with someone who is like cold, emotionally unavailable, and highly irritable. Okay. So just be mindful. If a lot of talk about legalities have been going on within the transits, and I feel like for some of you, there could be a judgment that goes into your favor that helps financially or just gives you this feeling of being able to start over fresh with a new beginning. Okay. The King of Swords is the general. The general is the leader and the commander who sets healthy boundaries. And what I do like about the King of Swords is once the King of Swords has its mind made up, it stays that way. It's also about planning. So some of you, it may be necessary to plan ahead. If you had the extra funds, if you were able to move, like, where would you go? If you want to start a business, or if you're looking to put out your resumes to get a job, like, do that. Like, prepare for a benefit of some sort. Now, if you've had any issues with visualization or manifesting, or where temperance, when I explained using all of the elements around you, and the magician has the physical tools, but temperance has more of a philosophical, energetic, or more mystic approach to it. I feel that if you need the physical things, maybe you're manifesting in some resources or something tangible and practical that helps you with the visualization and focus. For some of you, it doesn't have to be for all of you. Now, I love any lady with the Two of Wands because it gives me like world card energy. And for some of you, you may be wrapping up karmic romantic cycles. So be optimistic about the future and possibly not, step into a very aggressive, like defensive, cold, calculated, cut off energy due to that. If you were dealing with the magician, someone who wasn't committal, I feel that for some of you, there could be a partnership, and I'm not going to call it your forever person because I don't see the starfish, but I do see a lot of water animals with this commitment here. It has potential. Okay. Now for your 6 cups, you have 3 cups, and that's the card that it was clarifying. That's funny. So I feel like the people that you'll come into contact with that make you happiest have almost done the same thing as you. And it's a very safe environment where you guys support each other. There may also be an event that you guys are celebrating. So some of you guys, they have like, divorce paper signing parties. Yeah, I think that is very interesting, but they have them. Sometimes they're very exciting. If you are finalizing a divorce, or like I said, the end of a karmic contract, go you. Now your 10 of Cups, you have the Page of Cups. Do you see that this is the elevation? Once you get past, the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to the 10 of Cups, the next, level would be the court cards. So you have the Queen of Cups with the optimism, with the decision to make. And for some of you, it is you have to choose happiness. Okay. You have to choose what emotionally fulfills you and what doesn't. And you have to relieve yourself or let go of things that do not, any longer serve you. Now, if there's an offer coming, I feel like this offer coming is going to give you some sort of happy ending. And if you are completing, like I said, a karmic cycle, or have had a rough patch for a few years, this thing that comes in is like the icing on the cake to whatever ends, but leads you to this new beginning. And I think that is so cool for you guys. Look at the synchronicities. So she goes from the 2 wands, right? She had this initial attraction or idea, whether that was to a creative project or a relationship. There were all these chords and connection, and knowing the Queen of Cups with her optimism and rose-colored glasses, honey, she been through and through. The 3 of Wands says that the path that you walk has been paved just for you. You didn't have to choose right or left, good or bad, right or wrong. This is you walking on your journey, living in your purpose. It also says that any delays would be due to it not being long term. So if you don't hear back from that person or company, whatever the case may be, appreciate that because you're focused on long term. You're focused on winning the war and not a battle. So anything that is temporary or that doesn't serve you favorably, I feel like to you would be considered a delay. For others of you, it just talks about finally making the decision. And that decision had nothing to do with the options you had. You might get a spark of an entirely new idea that sets you forward, some good news, a person that comes in, or just a good day, you know? And I love that for you guys, group one. I definitely hope that it helps. And I feel like you guys are mystics and very strong at manifesting. So focus your vision and like focus with the precision of the King of Cups, but collaborate with your heart because your heart is going to be that next step. And that next step is going to lead you into celebration of some sort of offer in the very near future of July. All right, group two, take a deep breath. Let's unfold your story. You also had some bonus cards. I will start by giving respect to your crystal selection. Okay. And also the initial card that was in the pile. Okay. Your card is the Ace of Swords. And that makes so much sense because I shuffled the card out and it's been down for so long, I honestly forgot. So that makes this reading so authentic and genuine as you get released from this upside down. Okay. Archangel Michael, Raphael, and a couple of others show up, child, which is why the Four of Wands are here, which just talks about arrangement. Some of you, there could be light body activations, meditation, or something that you're manifesting that required the help of some higher ups. I'll just say that. The second card that you have out, the first for this reading, because I'm going to consider this your first card. And it's also a new perspective. So you may even notice that like it's a mental shift for you, which is why I feel it has more to do with like angelic beings and light bodies doing things for you through meditation while you sleep, through prayer. They're helping to change you because they heard your cry. Okay. And if you say, well, I wasn't crying. Okay, fine. Just listen to the rest of it. Take what resonates. Everybody relax. All right. So the first card that initially came out for my shuffle, besides your first card, your initial first card, I'll sit it here over this demon that you're going to slay. Okay. So we'll sit it right above it. All right. Right there. Now, with the Two of Coins, it told me about a lot of change for July, as well as unexpectedly. So you won't see this coming because the past was something like this and the near future goes something like that. All right. Now the energy around you could be heavy and dense. You also have bonus cards here we're going to talk about. The dense energy felt almost suffocating. It's been a season where everyone felt out of sync. Okay. And it wasn't just you. You also have the Sun card here. You have the Empress with the High Priestess. So I won't spill the beans just yet. Be patient. But for some of you, this tells me about like a rejuvenation in life. And for others of you, it's like calling in an actual soulmate or partner. Your calling as well. If your love life and your soul mission have to be in sync, because for some of us, that's just, it just has to be that way. You may be in the beginning stages of walking that, road. Because I don't want to like overdo it and say, yeah, the love of your life gonna pop up, or whatever you were called to do since the day you were born, it's just gonna magically start happening in July. It could. I'm not saying that, but the cards speak for themselves. And there's an aspect of both of those things being initiated within this month. Okay. So just keep your eyes open. Now, if life hasn't been flowing, for some of us, money, this Five of Pentacles right here may have been tight. With the Five of Swords as well, energy may be drained. Support from who? Because everybody was out for themselves. The people closest to you, arguments, misunderstandings, walls instead of bridges. You're opening up a new chapter. From indecision, inner conflict, your mind kind of battling itself. And you've been caught between choices in the past and neither one felt right. It's like standing at the crossroads blindfolded. Your instincts numb, your vision blurred. The hardship intensified. Now, this shows how isolation and confrontation may have left you feeling out in the cold. Maybe you struggle financially, emotionally, spiritually, or all three. A scarcity mindset settled in, and I like that the Empress comes in to change that. The fears of not having enough or of not being enough. Relationships may be turned turbulent. The Five of Swords energy creeps in, battles, power struggles, harsh words, and feeling like every exchange leaves you more depleted. This could be in a relationship situation, and for some of you, it may just feel like overall life. Your desires, the things you wanted so badly, started to taste toxic because even though the devil card is here that talks about obsession, desires, and over materializing, and this talks about poor spiritual health, it was like, I will say, just as your buddy, I feel you, because it's not that you were over materializing or lack spiritual grounding, some things you need in this dimension. And it's like, because of the length of time you didn't have them or how hard you were fighting to get them, it intensified. But energetically, or maybe on a spiritual level, or in the eyes of others, it just seemed like it was tiptoeing between the lines of it's now in control and not you. You may start questioning yourself, like you're going crazy. Believing in something beyond survival may have been hard, but the High Priestess whispers that your inner knowing was silenced under the weight of all the self-doubt and outer chaos. And for some of you, it could have been a mother figure, a father figure, a partner, a husband, a wife, or just someone that was supposed to be of help, because it was like an older person, a more mature person, or someone who was like better off, well off, or whatever. The devil kind of shows how you felt bound, chained to toxic patterns, limiting beliefs, maybe even addictions to people, emotions, or unhealthy cycles. If there were temptation, sabotage, repeating loops that made you feel shoved out of alignment, conflicted, cornered, or out of control, even celebrations or joyful moments were unstable. Okay? The Four of Wands is here. It reminds us that your foundation wasn't steady, but it's moving into that energy with this change. You tried to build, to root yourself, but everything felt temporary, conditional, or shaky. And here's where the story shifts. You've been carrying too much. The Two of Pentacles shows the constant juggling act, responsibilities, emotions, survival tactics. You learned to do multiple things, wearing every hat, but the weight started to burn you out. Then came the collapse. The Tower could have been a breakup, instability, whether that's relocating, moving, a relationship, your beliefs, okay? Something shocking and unexpected. For some of you, it could even have been health or someone that means something to you, someone that you were taking care of. But a sudden change that shook your world. It might have been any of those things, even an identity crisis. But the old structure, it crumbled because it couldn't hold your evolution. You were meant to survive that way. You were meant to thrive. And through the rumble, something new began to sprout. The Empress enters. Nurturing energy, creativity, divine feminine power. You began to birth a new version of yourself, maybe physically through healing your body, or spiritually through healing your soul. You're remembering the worth, your ability to create stability, not chance. There was a still pause with the Hangman, kind of represents like the cocoon. It felt stagnant, but really it was preparation. You were being unraveled with the umbilical cord of your past, the outdated beliefs, the generational wounds, the energetic bounds that kept you stuck. And now, the release. When I saw I had to get them here because these were extra, and I was like, Spirit, this is a lot. When I saw the Knight of Swords, the Devil card, the Ace of Swords, it makes sense. Michael got the sword because of the bravery. Like, I'll go. What? What's up? When everyone else was like obligated, no one else took accountability for free will, right? Or how much it was necessary to prevent a collapse of some sort. So I thought that was pretty dope. Either this energy shows up for you, or maybe you embodied some of it. Now, Michael storms in, or the Knight of Swords, we'll say, because this could even be someone else in your life. I doubt it, but Archangel Michael storms in with clarity. No more delays, no more second guessing. You charge forward, decisive, sharp, and ready to act on truth. The sun rises for you because I noticed the sun card and I think you were the only ones who got this card so far. Breakthroughs, illumination, joy, and confidence. It returns to your life. Spirit says you haven't run out of time. You didn't make the wrong choices. You've been learning mastery. Your hardships were never punishments. They were preparations. And what were you preparing for? The King of Kings. Where is he? He's somewhere. Don't hide now. Don't hide now. The Emperor steps in. You embody authority, stability, divine masculinity, and leadership as a woman or a man. And you hold your ground, claim your space, and establish boundaries. You no longer wait for permission, you lead. Now, one of my favorite, like Michael was my first favorite. And then as I learned about and met the rest of them, I was like, okay, I got a new favorite. Okay, they're all my favorite. So here comes Archangel Raphael, which is why I said some of you, this came after a relocation, putting all your eggs in one basket, or it signifies a relocation. And even if you don't move in July, now the fireworks is going crazy. But even if you don't move in July, there's something that happens this month, a thought, a choice, a phone call, a meeting with someone, like literally meeting a stranger, I don't know, whatever the case, or even getting into an argument or some sort of confrontation that moves you forward. And don't be afraid of it, however it permits itself into your life. Archangel Raphael usually moves us out of the chaos into calmer waters where we're never really driving the boat. It's it, because I don't want to say him. It's it, the thing that's helping you, your guides. And I think that that's super cool. Moving on physically, emotionally, and energetically for some of you that aren't interested in relocating. I get that. But the storm is behind you. You cross the waters of struggle into smoother currents, mental peace, and forward motion. Now, when the Judgment card came out, I said, this is super dope because something you thought was over, ended, and devastated. This could be a breakup or a job loss for some of you guys. It seemed like it was over, but it's not. They come back, it resurfaces, and I don't want to give false hope into a toxic situation that limits your growth. I don't do that. This is a good news reading and Spirit knows my intention. So if this were some Kojak or Cujo Pookie, they wouldn't come up. And even if they do, use your discernment, not some tarot reader on YouTube's. Okay. Now, your calling, your awakening, and your karmic realignment. For some, it's a true soulmate, the partner who supports your rise, appreciates your worth, and mirrors your growth. For others, it's purpose, the divine assignment reignited within you. I love that. Now, your spiritual team surrounds you, which is why I thought about like the light body activation meditation, because you call them in, they surround you, you feel all safe, and then woo-saw, whoosh-wash, they unbind you from some negativity in this plane, just like the negativity and all them fireworks, and they are really driving me nuts, but your readings are going to get uploaded. So, Mother Mary, I rarely publicly, like on YouTube, I have never spoke to you guys and then referenced the High Priestess as her, but me knowing the divine rays and seeing so many of them show up, I said, okay, because this could even be Uriel. Like you have, your assistance comes from way outside of this physical plane, which is probably why you don't expect this change. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Like I have never mentioned Mother Mary because of the different religious factors and how people see it. I just want you to know that though, if some of you are religious, I respect that. Mother Mary, the mother of, the sweet baby, I get that. But there's also the first alchemist ever recorded was a lady named Mary. And I thought that was super dope because it's kind of like she gave birth to all the alchemists that came after her. And I'm not a feminist, but I don't have anything against them. I want to say the first alchemist, period, but it could just be the first female alchemist documented, whatever the case. I just think the name Mary is so powerful and significant because so many stories are retold with that name. So I wanted to point that out so that you don't get, you don't deter from the message if you have different spiritual beliefs. I just wanted to say that. Okay. So respect to all the Marys. I love them. And Mary is too considered an ascended master, if you didn't know that, along with a few others that, like I said, have presented themselves in your readings. But they surround you, right? Archangel Michael is really good with cutting cords and shielding you from sabotage. And let's admit it, right? We all want to appear our best selves, and taking accountability just seems like an unwarranted responsibility because who else does it and why do we have to? But we all know that it's there. Okay. And if you don't know it, your guides do, and they can sit back and talk about it while you sleep. But helps us with self-sabotage. Okay. The Mother Mary wrapping you in unconditional love right here. It's like this feminine unconditional love crossing each other. There's no way around that. Archangel Raphael is restoring your energy, mending your heart, and other unseen protectors lifting you from where you were bound. The hang-ups, the hanged man energy, the blocks gone. The Sun card assures you've been uncrossed. The umbilical cord to your past severed. The cycles of lack, argument, and exhaustion completed. You're free, anchored, crowned. Mastery is the gift. Support is yours. Your glow up, inevitable. So, welcome to the other side of struggle. Your story rewritten, your throne is awaiting, and I think that's super dope. I'm going to take out some oracle cards for you because group 1 got 3, but y'all got so many cards I couldn't even really get them out. But I'm not going to limit you. Okay, look at her. Ariel said, I want legs because I want to see him. I know for some of you guys it was about a dude. Celestial cave or a female, but it talks about harmony. So I like that. 2s usually bring in balance and change or some sort of harmony. So that's cool. I am attuned to the harmony of the universe. Did I get 3 cards in a row? Okay, no. Okay, cool. I was about to get excited. I am attuned. Maybe this is the 3rd one. So y'all keep your eye right there on that card. But I'm attuned to the harmony of the universe, resonating with both the depths below and the heavens above. And see, that's your gift, boo. I just told you things are going on this planet. Yes. But you got some sort of connection that others will only get to read about. And look at this. When I see these animals, it always reminds me of, because I watch a lot of mystical movies, you know, the teenage vampire movies or the old ancient, all kind of movies. Okay. I love a good story. And you know how they have those mystical animals that appear and don't say nothing and just look at you. It's like a confirmation of some sort. And it talks about an initiation or some sort of acceptance. And look at you guys also have the number 32, which is connected to mastery. So we have the frozen mirror of reflection. Now, staring into my reflection, I see my true self shining. Every detail reveals boundless potential, no longer bound. Okay. And if you haven't already, do your little mirror practices where you look into it. It's not just for mirror magic. I don't know where that tradition came from, respect to it, but it's also a way to give healing or distant, like Reiki healing to yourself. When you set your intentions, you look in the mirror and look between the brows, it gives energy. It restores energy to you. So if you had a lot of cords and connections or fluid depleted, that's something that could help. Now, I like the number 11, but dang it, I said, pay attention to this card. And it went boop. Let's shuffle it out and see what spirits say. Okay. I love that, to have fun. Like I knew you were going to do it. I'll give you 2. It's both air energies. For some of you, you have Rain's Lullaby, assured. I anchor in deep self-trust, knowing my capacity to hold complexities and present emotional intelligence. Sorry about that. So for some of you, it's that control. That's why she was out of the water, but still has the capacity to go back and forth. Okay. Now for others of you, there's a bear and you wouldn't really notice it unless I pointed it out. Some of you may have, I don't know, but because it looks like it's part of the rock in the mountain. The number 16, boop, right there. It says, searing falls and empowerment. I harness the strength within me, soaring above challenges and drawing power from life's significant triumphs. So I mentioned that, I think, in one of what reading was that? It was your glow up reading for July, and it was a general plus financial. And I do recall when I don't know what group it was, but I was giving them, of course, a tarot interpretation, but a story that I remembered from one of my initial experiences with creative projects, entrepreneurship, or just When you have to be consistent, that's what it was. Their group was about determination and consistency. And it was like consistency is easy when life is easy. But when life gets crazy or you're unstable physically, financially, mentally, emotionally, whatever the case, how do you be consistent if like the world is burning around you? And I told them, you have to draw from a time when it wasn't like that. You have to focus on the outcome that you want. It has to be more important than everything going on. So Lulu does help you. Okay. We always talk about being realistic and being grounded. But in those times where you have to kind of like not see so much the burning building to stay consistent for a favorable reason, right? Because we're not talking about sabotage and illusion, but a little bit of delusion, if that makes sense. Long story short, the ego with the number 16 comes sometimes because they serve as a warning. And for some of you, the warning is to soar above the challenge. The challenge with this bear right here could represent a time of financial hardship, others in your environment that come to you in need because they didn't preserve, or hold on to whatever coins they had in surplus, and you're going to know who they are. Things happen, yes. Do we help our friends and family? Yes. But if you sit and watch this person be reckless, sabotage, and irresponsible, and then they come to you for saving, you got your own stuff going on. Okay? That's what we have. So I appreciate that. And I think y'all actually started with that card on the bottom of the deck. So group 2, there was something. I do hope that it helps. My group 3s, let's go. You guys have the Orca. All right. Beautiful, beautiful agate. So pretty. I just want to pick it up and flip it over again, but I won't. We have shuffled out your energy to go ahead and get started. And I even have a bonus card for you. Here are your Oracle cards. Your card that was under the crystal was the 9 of Cups. So you guys, out of everyone, has like divine timing, wish fulfillment, some sort of reward. After like past efforts being rewarded, I feel like you may have even resonated with the glow up reading about being more competitive. I think it was like group 2. So if you normally choose 2 and this time you chose 3 or something like that, that may be significant. For others of you, I think there's a person potentially like returning from the past that, you are the needle in the haystack. They didn't have time for you at some point, but they have this realization, things ended or things transformed because they don't, it's up in the air. This may not have happened yet. We don't know if it's going to end or if it changes. That's up to you. But I will say you've been mastering and working on yourself. This could be your opportunity to break out of cycles that no longer serve you. Okay. Now, this moment you're stepping into, it feels like a homecoming for some of you, not just physically, but so deep. You're returning to the part of you that believed in magic, the younger version of yourself who saw the world through softer eyes, the version that could see the unseen and feel energy shifts in a room. Notice the smallest signs like a whisper from the universe guiding you. You were always tuned in. Maybe others couldn't understand how you noticed things that they missed. Your gifts were quiet, mystical, sometimes overwhelming, but you learned early that not everyone sees the world like you do. Life happens. The hard times happened and probably like hardened your edges. The cold settled in, not just from the outside world, but within your own spirit. You may have doubted your sensitivity, dismissed your magic, and traded wonder for survival. But now, that softness, that spark is returning. You're not naive anymore. You're wise, discerning, and still. The magic is alive. You're coming out of the cold, stepping into the warmth, and remembering the mystical dragon inside of you. That is one of your bonus cards. That's both a force and gentle. And here's the thing. With your intuition heightening, so does your awareness of your surroundings. You can feel energy of those around you. You've noticed some people. They see your glow, your wish fulfillment energy, and it triggers them. You've worked for this. Your joy, your peace, your breakthroughs. Not everyone claps when you win, okay? It's not paranoia, it's awareness. Some around you, their nature is different, colder and calculated, maybe even threatened by your warmth. You just need to watch them. Be quick, be sharp, protect your space. Their energy is reptilian, right? Survival based, while yours evolves into wisdom and heart-centered power. And just as your intuition sharpens, a familiar face from the past resurfaces. At first, there's joy, nostalgia, the spark of remembering that once was. But then, this time, you see clearly, you've grown. You're no longer stuck in cycles, hoping people change or waiting for someone to see your worth. Okay? You already know your worth. This is the closing of the old loop, the completion of a story that no longer fits your frequency. You recognize the lesson, you honor the connection, but no longer stay where your energy isn't reciprocated. You've been tested emotionally, mentally, spiritually, but through the chaos, competition, and confusion, you've risen. You've seen, and now you are seen, recognized. It's like you were the needle in the haystack, overlooked, underestimated, and now they see you're the one. The energy around you is aligning. You've been juggling, multitasking, wearing every hat, trying to balance life, responsibilities, and your own healing. But now the scales are leveling. You're finding stability, and more than that, you're building your own foundation, no longer waiting for others to offer you one. You've been putting in the work, mastering yourself, creating without waiting for outside validation. You realize that waiting for people who didn't have time for you is no longer an option. You've poured into yourself, your growth, your craft, and the results are inevitable. I feel like you've had to focus and block out emotions because maybe life felt like karma, one thing after another. And you had no choice. When you wanted to sit and reflect and think, you may felt that you were running out of time and even felt forced to compete for someone's attention, love, or even like your own success. And it's like you wanted to give someone something and they blew it off. Because I'm looking at the way, here's the chandelier that's in, it's similar. Okay, it's similar to the Six of Wands. The Five of Wands is like someone blowing out the candles on your cake. That's like a hater. Now, if this was energetic, spiritual warfare, you wouldn't notice it because it's kind of like those times where, people send negative energy and they say, oh, do your baths, do your rituals, do the return to sender. But what if you're not into that kind of lifestyle? And it's just negative energy from people that you have no idea even feel the way they do about you. Here's somebody blowing out your candle cakes, but you get your wish fulfillment from the other side. And I feel like it may have been a temporary delay because this situation, this relationship, whatever you were working on, it may have felt like your efforts weren't being rewarded. Like with this person, with this job for some of you guys, or even working on yourself. It's like everything that you try to do just, you know what I'm saying? Just like the air in this Five of Wands. But it's like the sixth one comes, the needle in the haystack is found, going back to the drawing board, doing some reflection and getting back on the horse. Because for some of you, I did see a horse energy. So like a freedom or a release, whether it's from a long cycle, life lessons, karmic energy, or just change of perspective, a change in career or a transformation within a person. But momentum is building. Now, something that needed to end that hasn't ended yet, for some of you, the momentum is building on that as well. Now, you don't want to be stuck in a cycle with a person that only changes because they see the benefits that you are manifesting. The things that you're doing attracts them kind of like an opportunist. So be mindful of that. I feel like it's an X for some of you guys. And for others, it could be an air sign, fire sign. Now, in the environment where we talk about a lot of conflict and competitiveness, this may have been in an area of work or where you may have had to work repeatedly on a specific aspect of yourself. Okay. This could have been setting healthy boundaries, seeing through the blocks, or pointing things out, when people fail to take accountability. Because I'm looking at this King of Swords. The two swords are sitting before him, which could signify the crossroad we've been at, being blinded, and refusing to see, or being passive in situations, drowning ourselves in our work to ignore the chaos around us. But at some point, you may have had to draw that sword and say, look, you know what I mean? And in doing so, some people try to manipulate you emotionally or by removing their attention. And you feel that, did you do the wrong thing? You know how hard you've worked at this job, at this relationship, on yourself. Did you ruin it all? And it's like, no, I don't see self-sabotage here. So you don't have to question yourself in that manner. Now, for those of you that resonate with having gifts like at an early age, I love this card. The rainbow droplets play the number 8. I also know that something could be significant, not only for July, but August 28th or the month of August. We have the 8-8 portal, could be significant, but you have a lot of 2, 8, and 4s, and then you have a 1. So I feel that let's go with this first, because it's like I was about to jump right off of it into like this magical manifestation energy I'm feeling. But yeah, for some of you guys, early on, you had gifts and abilities. For some of you, it's like your capacity to see light, like you actually see lights and sparkles or just things differently. For others of you, it's like you may have had a more positive vibe, and people in your environment may have felt that you just had too much energy. You saw things on the bright side, or maybe you wasn't realistic. It also gives me like, you know how they say with the wolf and trying to trick the sheep. Be mindful of that. Be mindful of that. Just like the story with the hare and the turtle, even though it was a good story and the turtle wasn't there to hurt anybody, just imagine a trickster energy that allows you to calm down and slow down, but for their gain. That sounds like a very toxic relationship. It sounds like a silly little coworker, and it sounds like an unethical boss. So just be mindful of people in your environment that may take advantage of your vulnerabilities. Okay. Now it says, I open my eyes to the color around me. So do that. Smell some roses. The second card you have, and like I said, them together just gave me 828. So that seemed to be really significant at the time your cards were shuffled out. From a state of calm, I harness the swift agility of intuition, propelling me forward with clear intentions. Now, this being the second card is what my little lamb is facing. You're facing a moment or opportunity where your intuition and agility is what's going to propel you forward. If you want like a realistic explanation for where your super strength and this abundance or whatever wish fulfillment or happiness you're manifesting, I think being proud of yourself and just getting back into the energy that you originally had before life happened. Okay. Now, there's always two sides to a story. So my first mind with the dragon, because I resonate with Chinese zodiac, and I know that the dragon within us is almost like an ego, but the more favorable part that protects us and like picks us up off the ground when we want to just stay asleep and lay down, and we didn't put our all into something we've been working so hard, and it's just like, we tired. It's like the last dragon, like the movie, the energy at the last minute when he started glowing, that man beat him down, child. He was tired. The movie was almost over. But he got up with this glow and he was like, who's the master? And he was like, I am. You feel me? So it's that aspect of the dragon that I initially felt, where your innocence may have been underappreciated and abused, which could lead to feeling tired or just slowing down and almost giving up, like not even having the energy to compete in life for anything. Because at this point, for what? The dragon steps in and gives bravery to help uncover whatever mysteries and truths could lead you along your journey, like the directions or the loopholes in the matrix. Okay. Aligning your soul with boundless wisdom of the cosmos is like a recalibration of some sort of the Akashic records. The Akashic records are beneficial for understanding our own reincarnation and karmas, our past decisions and which ones to make now. And it eases the blow for karmic energy, because it's like, oh, okay. It's like a second chance. You know what I'm saying? You don't take so personal this dimension and this experience if it's a repeat, or you can kind of understand why it's happening. It doesn't, I don't know, to me, it just doesn't hurt the same, or it doesn't, it's not just like the same or whatever. For others of you, I also feel if this is a person in the environment, like I said, there's nothing like you. They got a whole different energy. The aspect of the Akashic records help you to understand the nature of you guys' relationship. So for one, you get out of the confusion. You understand that there is definitely something, right? You're not losing it. But two, it gives you more information and more confidence to handle this situation appropriately with all the facts. Okay. Just imagine that there are multiple aspects and it's like a multifaceted situation. Not having all the facts will have you in this timeline, either blaming yourself for the part that you've done or not seeing everything that they've done and allowing them into your space. Okay. I feel like for you guys, knowing the entire story and having access to the Akashic records would help you to set healthy boundaries, to not repeat loops. You've been working on yourself, yes, but like I said, I feel like this person may have a connection to you to where you could be more vulnerable in this situation. Okay. So we're going to pull an extra card on that. And then on this 9 of Cups, your actual wish fulfillment. This is a yes. It's just like, yes, it is what it is. Now, it could be a chord, okay, and it may be like an energetic connection. If this isn't a physical person that returns, it's an energy. So just be mindful of this light, playful beginning you, and then be mindful of when your energy shifts and you become something that you may feel you've grown into due to your experiences. Okay. It may be a fire sign, but for some of you, I feel strongly it's more so like this chord or this connection with someone who missed an opportunity. And as soon as they come in, they be right back out. Now, if you're just lacking energy and this is your energy returning, look at that, my little star, my star seeds and my empaths. I feel like this 9 of Cups isn't just physical. Wish fulfillment is this person you really like coming back, but you don't really have no business dealing with them. Others of you, the wish fulfillment may fall in just having the energy you need to be who you're supposed to be. Does that make sense? It's like the calm after the storm. The storm didn't show up in you guys' reading. There's no tower moment. There's no chaos or confusion. Wherever you are, you may feel safe. You could be calm at a stillness or at least accepting what's happening right now. There's nothing like unbearable. For some of you, it could be, but I don't think that's your case, group 3. An adventure for some of you to get into a new energy, do something different. The normal way you go home, take a different route. Take a trip, even a short trip, or just do something different because that's going to help you get out of the blues, the sadness, the regrets. We're going to get out of the past. There's nothing to regret. Return to your innocent initial energy. But others of you, this person that you walked away from with this 8 of Cups, whether they forced you to or they walked away, it's like they come in, their decision is made, they're very passionate, they see the light, but I feel like you're going to give them a run for their money. And I don't know if the 6 of Wands is just like you guys working it out or you feeling vindicated and clear. You know, do they get what they want? Do you get what you want? Or y'all getting what y'all want? I don't know. Okay, for the 9 of Cups, we have the 3 of Wands. And the 3 of Wands says that it is your destiny to forge forward and be a leader. You also have the Sun card. So you got 2 yeses. Whatever you're manifesting, whatever questions that you may have, there hasn't been any no's yet. So I don't know if you got a certain person in mind or you just claiming the video, but it's like you have a destiny or a calling and spirit is leading you to be the general of some sort. And you may feel that me for what? Why me type deal, especially as like an empath or a starseed or someone who just has a really sweet, warm nature. I think that that's necessary for your mission. If you don't have a competitive spirit, a bone in your body, and you have a little bit more patience than others, those skills could be utilized in many different ways. And I feel like that's what you'll begin to see and maybe even start appreciating yourself. So I think that that's super cool for you, group 3, and I do hope that it helps. Now, group 4, we are going to get started with your reading. I also have some bonus oracle cards that will shuffle out momentarily. Let me start out by saying the way this Knight of Swords came out, sorry about that. The way this Knight of Swords came out, then the Lovers, then the Queen of Cups. It was like the Knight of Swords is his energy coming in to save her, but her back is turned. And it was like, it just, with the 9 of Pentacles, it could, it could give that she's pouring out the cup. I get it because of whatever this was that made her feel this way. And maybe if this was the past behavior, but the emotions have changed, the feelings have changed, the situation has changed. And I don't know how much time it took or how much patience someone has to have for someone who was like an unrequited love or whatever. But I still feel that she's pouring the cup out on the past, not necessarily pouring the cup out on the present moment, because in this deck, the ladder also is in the Judgment card. So it talks about choices, but this isn't just a choice. It talks about a decision. And then so we have to like decipher, well, what's the difference between a choice and a decision? And I feel like the choices are things that could be presented to us or presented to her or him. But the decision is like what we do with the choices. And I thought that that was super dope. So group 4, we are going to get started with your reading. You have the beautiful oregano, I believe, petrified wood, mountain stone. And the initial card that came out under your crystal that was flipped over is the 9 of Pentacles. So we'll start with your present, what's crossing it, the challenge, the foundation of it all, possible recent past. That's why I said there may have been a break or no communication in a past situation. Now, this represents the recent past. So the patience that was required for whatever this independence brings us. Could even be abundance for some of you and doesn't have to be a relationship. So stay open to a decision that may come to you and you have to make, I don't want to say a quick decision. I don't think it's impulse. And you may have to use your heart over your head. I don't know. We're going to see. But we have our conscious goals, which is good. This is a super good card to have for your goals. And we also have the near future, which I thought was super cool because the magician is the one that gets the aces from the divine and is usually instructed by the high priestess. It's like you guys you have so many synchronicities. And the reading is super cool. So it's like the instructions. For some of you, it comes through meditation. It comes through the subconscious energy. It comes from the past, like you've done this before. This is just another, I want to say solar return, but no, it's not that, incarnation or reincarnation or whatever. Now we have the self-perception. We also have the Lovers, which are actually the external influence, which was interesting. The Knight of Swords, our hopes and fears. That is a dope card to have because the Knight of Swords is going to tackle any fears and is also the wish master for our hopes. And the Queen of Cups kind of represents our final outcome. But for you guys, it's like a bonus card. So I threw it in there. Now take a moment to breathe, okay, into your energy and tune in. Deep breaths so you don't have to be all dramatic. I just like breathing deeply as we explore your current path, your challenges, and the beautiful transformation that is ahead for you. The intentions were set on the month of July, but tarot is timeless. Y'all know that. I have stumbled upon readings from a year, 2, 3 ago. I'll follow somebody new, I subscribe, and their readings from 3, 4 years ago, just all in the algorithm, and I'll click on it, especially the pick of cards. Okay, so we begin here in the present energy. You stand in a space of self-sufficiency and have probably worked hard, perhaps harder than anyone realizes, to cultivate independence, stability, and peace within yourself. It hasn't come easy. There were seasons of scarcity, uncertainty, but now you're claiming your worth. The energy of self-reliance surrounds you, and not just financially, but emotionally and spiritually too. You know how to stand alone when needed. These 2 cards say that. And you've probably built your garden that way. And even if you're not fully harvesting your fruits yet, the growth is undeniably strong, inevitable as well. Now, if you're in a relationship, that's great. We got the lover's card right here, so hang tight. For some of you, the independence came with a challenge or comes with a challenge. One that isn't loud or obvious, but subtle, like a whisper. She whispers, a whisper to the soul. So we got to listen. And it seems like this whisper you'll hear best in stillness or calm, okay? In a resting state. Whether that's like literally, like I said, through meditation or, breathing techniques, or just in life, period, right? Our emotions, our subconscious may be involved because even the intuition, you got the Ace of Cups with our Queen of Cups. Now, the High Priestess and the Ace of Cups cross your energy. Your intuition is super potent right now, and your emotional body is stirring. Could be the transits. We have a billion retrogrades this month. But you're fully trusting what you feel. And while we're in Cancer season, it may affect you guys differently too, depending on how your natal charts align. There is a delicate balance between maintaining your grounded independence and surrendering to deep emotional and spiritual insights flowing to you. Your heart wants to open, your intuition wants to speak, but there could be a wall. Remnants of past hurt, fears of vulnerability could be standing in the way. Now, this may be you or another person. At the root of all of this, the foundation in a period of stillness and healing, as well as retreat with the Four of Swords, it reminds us that you've been in recovery mode. It may not be necessary or a need for some of you. It's just how it's been. And perhaps life pushed you into a pause, physically, mentally, or emotionally. It was necessary. You couldn't pour from an empty cup, and so you rested, you reflected, and regrouped. But the rest comes like a reminder. You're not meant to stay in pause forever. And maybe you'll feel that sometimes when we're rested too long. In the recent past, it shows that endurance, that you've carried, or it carried you like a warrior, pushing through exhaustion, setbacks, and doubts. Life tested your resilience. And while you may feel bruised, you're not broken. You've built strength through struggle. You've held the line, protected your energy, and kept going. And I think that that's super cool. Your conscious energy is to focus now. Practical and steady progress with our Knight of Coins. Reflect your desire for grounded movement. Building step by step, ensuring stability in love, career, and life. You're not interested in quick fixes. And we did see, if some of you are watching from, I'll just say another group, the quick fix showed up in their reading. This one is saying that you guys, it's like, it's not even in my energy to accept. But just be mindful that the cards show you may want something lasting and you're willing to invest the time and effort to create it. So it doesn't have to be, like I said, involvement of another. It's just something that you wish for, even if like you just wish for yourself. Now, just ahead of you, right? The Knight of Coins, your goals, the potential that's ready to unfold, the energy of the Magician pops up. You're stepping into your power as a creator, a manifester, an alchemist, and you've gathered your tools, experience, wisdom, resources, and now you're ready to use them. The universe mirrors your intentions, so be mindful of that. And you're not waiting for permission. You're claiming your ability to shape your own reality. I think that that's super cool. How do you see yourself in this chapter is what the Strength card asks. It reveals your quiet power. You've learned to master the inner beast. Your fears, impulses, doubts. You're not forcing change. You're guiding it with patience, compassion, and resilience. You've become emotionally intelligent, spiritually grounded, and strong, not through control, but through self-awareness. In your environment, the influences shaping your path lies the energy of connection, choices, and alignment. So here, okay, these little characters are, in case you want to see it this way, very interesting. Where she had to persevere or have the patience. And this one moves forward swiftly after a pause or no communication for some of you guys. And here we are. He's now facing the spirit, not just the physical. And she's facing her own intuition and or subconscious. I think that that's super cool. She's thinking about commitment. Is he still the magician? Hmm? Is she saying no to more patience or no to independence and being single? I don't know. Now, Spirit said no, she not. Well, she could. I don't know, depending. But there's no hesitation with this Knight of Swords. The Lovers card signifies key relationships, decisions, and soul contracts coming into play. This could be romantic, but it also speaks to divine partnerships, friendships, or crucial life choices requiring alignment with your higher self. Your hopes and fears are intertwined now, symbolizing the Knight of Swords. There's a part of you eager to change and charge forward, to claim victory with the Four of Swords, to speak your truth. But there's also hesitation and possibly fear of impulsivity, if that's a word. Fear of confrontation, fear of moving too fast without clarity. That could be anybody in the situation if it's not you. And someone wants momentum, but you also want to be sure. And the outcome, where does this journey lead you? Ooh, right? Now, for some of you, we have the Queen of Cups, and I'll give Spirit an opportunity to add anything that could be necessary for you, group 4. That's a lot. We have the Queen of Coins, so I knew somebody was going to embody this 9 of Coins. I ain't crazy, because why not now? The 7 of Cups pulls up where these are a lot of options. Things can go many different ways, and look at him. How many cups have been offered? It's like, now I'm going to give you the big one, but it's like all these other ones. If this isn't a him to her or her to him sort of situation, these are all the things that you've felt, you've manifested, that kind of showed their faces, but never really manifested into the physical. It's like a realization or some sort of, night into the soul for the magician. But here's another one, and I don't feel like you did this one alone. Here's the hand extended. I feel like it's from someone else or the divine. It's kind of cool. Look, Archangel Raphael and others of you. That's not funny. It just could be a Capricorn, okay? But it's like moving away from confusion may have been hard for this person. I'll say that because I said, what does Spirit want to say? Sometimes when people don't respond, they disappear or go silent. They're dealing with things and they can't make a decision. And unfortunately, you just fit into one of these cups. And that don't sound good. Don't get me wrong. It's like, well, I'm just another one of many. No. But through some sort of chaos and confusion of someone's psyche, because so for some of us, the negative energy is not real. It's not physical. It's in the psyche when the Devil card and the Ace of Cups and then the Queen of Cups comes up. But the good news is, the 9 of Pentacles is an independence or some sort of release from what felt like just this hard life. It could be a hard life, hard relationship, but when the 9 of Wands pulls up, this is definitely like wounded warrior energy, and attracting soulmates, people, situations, or making choices based in that energy is probably not, favorable to experience. I'll say that. Now, the Queen of Cups embodies like emotional mastery, so that's pretty dope to be your outcome card. Intuitive alignment and heart-centered leadership. You become deeply attuned to your feelings. Maybe this person has some sort of change like that. And you no longer suppress your sensitivity, you celebrate it. And that's why I said it's funny that, he is now with this Ace of Cups, which is embodying that aspect of the feminine side who doesn't look into the physical, but the spiritual. So I think that that's kind of cool. I think they want to celebrate it. If this is someone coming in to communicate after a time of not wanting to be impulsive and how do I say this type deal, they don't want to suppress something that they may have deprived you from in the past. And this could just be you. So trust your heart, your insight, your divine knowing. The Queen of Cups shows that after the trials, the defenses, and the healing, your softness becomes strength. Okay, so we still got strength right here by the Ace of Cups. And you attract love, compassion, and fulfillment, not through force, but through authentic energy. You embody grace, nurturing, and inner wisdom. You become the safe space that you've always sought out for yourself and for others. Someone else could also see you like that. You've built independence and resilience. For your final reflection, you're learning to trust your intuition and soften your defenses. You've healed from exhaustion and setbacks, and you're focused on steady, tangible progress. You're stepping into your role as a conscious creator. Your strength comes from within, not through force, but through understanding. Soul aligned connections and key choices shape your environment. You balance swift action with mindful intention, and you arrive fully in your heart space, emotionally grounded, spiritually aligned, ready to receive love and abundance. So, it's a beautiful chapter of your life you may experience this month, not just of survival, but of self mastery, heart awakening, and soul fulfillment. Your intuition is your compass, your heart is your guide, and your power already within you, group 4. And I do hope that this helped.